Today we're going to be putting stock Logic Pro plugins head-to-head against $25,000 worth of mastering equipment and compare the results. Now you're probably going to be coming into this video with a certain idea of who's going to win. I certainly do. This is a classic story. It's David and Goliath. It's Luke versus Darth Vader and the Empire. It's Frodo versus Sauron and the fires of Mount Doom. But I must remind you who won in all of those stories. If anything, I'm kind of voting for Logic here. But I'd like to hear from you in the comments who you think is going to win, and if watching this video changes your mind or reinforces your decision. So let's jump right into it. Here's a Logic Pro session. I've got an analog channel up at the top, digital channel at the bottom. So the analog channel up top has one plugin on it, and it's just the I/O. It's going output 1516, input 1516. That's my analog loop. And one of the really cool new things about Logic Pro 11 is that you can bounce in place for analog loops. Bounce in place is a really cool new feature of Logic Pro 11. And I recently made a video talking about all the other really cool new features about Logic Pro 11. There's going to be a link in the description. There's also going to be a link in the description to my mastering services because I'm a mastering engineer. If you need mastering, I'd love to help you get your record across the finish line. So let's start with the analog chain. I'm going to jump over here and show you what we're working with. Here comes the video. Here's what we're working with today. This is a Manley SLAM. It is an optical compressor and a FET compressor, input and output gain. It is extremely good. It's very fun. It sounds phenomenal. It is one of the most expensive mastering compressors on the market. This is the Ear Yoshino 825Q equalizer. They don't make these anymore because Tim passed away and the schematics and kind of the knowledge of how to build this thing died with him. So if you can get your hands on one of these, get it, because they're not making any more. They sound phenomenal. So I'm going to smash that play button like you should smash that like button, and we're going to get started with an analog chain.
Looking for the reason not to fall apart. Been looking for a place to make a brand new start. She's tired of empty promises and broken hearts, but still wants to believe. Cause she got $5 and a broke red Silverado, with a mile left in the tank. Still owes 4 bills she cannot pay. Yeah, yelling, bartender, pour me another shot of whiskey mixed up with regret. Cause there's still some things left to forget. Gotta live no holidays. Too broke, she left those Beverly days. Never looking back and thinking, should I stay? Said I'm bound to run, not to behave. Now she's calling number 9 on the radio fam. Grabbed a couple things, she's laying in the sand. South the borders where she plans on living in. She finally found a reason not to fall apart. Finally found a place to make a brand new start. Getting far from empty promises and broken hearts. She'll be, but see still, she's got just $5 and a broke red Silverado, with a mile left in the tank. Still owes 4 bills she cannot pay. Yeah, yelling, bartender, pour me another shot of whiskey mixed up with regret. Cause there's still some things left to forget. Gotta live no holiday. Cause I can't keep listening. All those lies they're selling. Stuck in social media sales. Cause I got $5 and a broke red Silverado, with a mile left in the tank. Still owe 4 bills I cannot pay. Yelling, bartender, pour me another shot of whiskey mixed up with regret. Cause there's still some things left to forget. Cause she got $5 and a broke red Silverado, with a mile left in the tank. Still owes 4 bills she cannot pay. Yeah, yelling, bartender, pour me another shot of whiskey mixed up with regret. Cause there's still some things left to forget. Gotta live no holidays. Bartender, pour me another shot of whiskey mixed up with regret. Cause there's still some things left to forget.
Can I just say the not having to worry about the 20-minute Canon cutoff is I think this is a great sounding analog chain. I'm not going to spend too much more time on it. I think we're nearly there, and this is not really about building the best analog chain. It's just about making the analog chain and the digital chain comparable. So we've got some compression, we've got some EQ. What we're going to do now is we're going to build the digital chain to match the analog chain and try and get as close as we possibly can. So if I switch over to the digital chain here, one of the things that I tried was I sent this test oscillator through the analog equipment, and I made sure that the compression here on the SLAM is going to match the compressor on the digital channel. So the compressor, the SLAM compressor, is showing about 2.5 decibels of LOP compression when I'm sending that test through it. And this is exactly what we're seeing here on the Vintage Opto option in the stock Logic compressor. I'm also matching the +4 gain of the Manley SLAM on the input. I'm matching the 2:1 ratio, no makeup gain. The attack and release times are roughly the same as what they say in the manual for what this box is doing. So this compressor ought to be very nearly identical to the compression that we're doing in the analog world. But before we get to EQ, I also brought up ChromaGlow, because in my last video about some of the great new features in Logic Pro 11, we talked about ChromaGlow and how we can make ChromaGlow look exactly like my analog equipment by putting it on modern tube, clean, at 6% drive. 6% drive on this guy, modern tube, is very, very similar to what we're seeing in the analog world. So we have our box tone matched here, and this ought to be great. We have a compressor dialed in with a test oscillator, and that ought to be sounding just right. And now what we need to do is we need to match EQ to EQ. Now we could do this very painstakingly by ear, or we can use Logic's Match EQ. So I have a fresh copy of Match EQ here pulled up on the master. What I'm going to do is I'm going to solo up the analog chain, and I'm going to send that as, I'm going to have that learn as reference. And then we're going to switch over to the digital chain. That'll be current, and then we'll build an EQ curve to match the current digital chain to the EQ of the analog chain. Reference, learn.
$5 and a broke red Silverado with a mile left in the tank.
Okay, that's enough of a sample. Now we're going to turn learn off. We're going to switch to current. We're going to switch to digital. We're going to turn on learn, and the same part of the song is going to be the current.
$5 and a broke red Silverado with a mile left in the tank.
Okay, so we've got current, we've got reference, and we are going to now take this EQ curve and hit match. And voila, it just magically builds a matching EQ curve to take what we did in the analog world and get as close as we possibly can in the digital world. Now this is a digital EQ. That's okay. Why? Because we have ChromaGlow as the first thing. So essentially we've got the box tone matching this analog equipment over here, and then clean digital EQ. It'd be about the same as using one of Logic's colorful like vintage EQ, but I think we're gonna get a lot closer to the sound of this analog box in particular by using this EQ. So now what I need to do is I just need to copy this match EQ to the digital channel, and then I'll bypass it on the master. Now we have digital and analog, both with compressor that is comparable, both with an EQ that's comparable, and both with saturation box tone that's comparable.
Some things left to forget.
Okay, that's pretty dead on. I am going to, that showed me that it was about, digital was about half a dB too loud. So let's change that to 1.5. Let's bounce these in place, get fresh copies. I'm going to normalize them so that they're 1-to-1, exactly the same volume. I think they're pretty darn close already. They might already be exact. And we'll take it from there. Analog, bounce in place, red Silverado, analog. You know what I didn't do? I didn't plug that this is City Creed. Okay, we've got analog print, and let's do the same bounce in place. First, I gotta turn off I/O, otherwise it's going to bounce even digital in real time. You turn off I/O, and you won't have to bounce in real time. Red Silverado, digital, go. Hey! Okay, so we have red Silverado digital and red Silverado analog. Let's have a look at these in Isotope RX and make sure that they are 1-to-1 the exact same loudness. Analog is minus 10.9, digital is minus 10.9. Okay, so we don't have to do anything to these. These are 1-to-1, precisely the same loudness already. We can just drop these in and give them a good old compare and contrast. So I'm gonna move these out of the way. They don't need to be here anymore. I'm gonna bring these up, digital to digital, analog to analog, and we're gonna bypass everything except for this blind test plugin. This is one of my favorite plugins. It doesn't actually do anything to the audio. It is literally for the sake of blind listening to things, so you don't sway your judgment based on what you think is what. It will shuffle the songs, it'll solo one of them, and it'll give you this toggle button so you can jump between analog and digital. Here's how we're going to do this. I'm not going to tell you which is which. We're going to A-B through the whole thing, and at the end we will reveal which one is analog and which one is digital. So let me line this up so that it covers all the meters so we don't accidentally spy which is which. Okay, here we go. Shuffle. So now we don't know which is which. One of them is analog, one of them is digital. Let's start from the top and give it a listen.
Too broke, she hates those Beverly days. Working 9 to 5 for rent, she cannot pay. Said I'm bound to run, but then she stays. Used to buy out all the live social media sales when she cut off all her friends and changed her name. All she ever felt in this town was betrayed. She's looking for the reason not to fall apart. Been looking for a place to make a brand new start. She's tired of empty promises and broken hearts, but still wants to believe. Cause she got $5 in a broke red Silverado, with a mile left in the tank. Still owes 4 bills she cannot pay. Yeah, yelling, bartender, pour me another shot of whiskey mixed up with regret. Cause there's still some things left to forget. Gotta live no holidays. Too broke, she left those Beverly days. Never looking back and thinking, should I stay? Said I'm bound to run, not to behave. Now she's calling number 9 on the radio fam. Grabbed a couple things, she's laying in the sand. South the borders where she plans on living in. She finally found a reason not to fall apart. Finally found a place to make a brand new start. Getting far from empty promises and broken hearts. She'll be, but see still, she's got just $5 in a broke red Silverado, with a mile left in the tank. Still owes 4 bills she cannot pay. Yeah, yelling, bartender, pour me another shot of whiskey mixed up with regret. Cause there's still some things left to forget. Gotta live no holiday. Cause I can't keep listening. All those lies they're selling. Stuck in social media sales. Cause I got $5 in a broke red Silverado, with a mile left in the tank. Still owe 4 bills I cannot pay. Yelling, bartender, pour me another shot of whiskey mixed up with regret. Cause there's still some things left to forget. Cause she got $5 in a broke red Silverado, with a mile left in the tank. Still owes 4 bills she cannot pay. Yeah, yelling, bartender, pour me another shot of whiskey mixed up with regret. Cause there's still some things left to forget. Gotta live no holiday. Bartender, pour me another shot of whiskey mixed up with regret. Cause there's still some things left to forget.
Guys, that's really close. I can already hear some people commenting, it's not close at all. To me, I feel like it's really close. Look, I couldn't tell you which is which. I have a strong suspicion, but I will tell you which one I think I like better. I'm not sure which one it is, but I think I like the sound of the top one more than I like the sound of the bottom one. But it's really close. Are we ready for the reveal? I'm nervous. Oh, okay. Okay, so number one, the top one was analog the whole time. The bottom one was digital the whole time. Did you get it right? If you did, let me know in the comments. Okay, so here's the second experiment I want to do. I'm going to do one more blind, but I'm going to change one thing before we do it. New shuffle. I'm just going to solo up the end of the song here. We don't need to listen to the whole thing again. We're going to go back and forth a couple times. I want you to tell me what you think is better. I'm also going to vote for my favorite.
She got $5 in a broke red Silverado with a mile left in the tank. Still owes 4 bills she cannot pay. Yeah, yelling, bartender, pour me another shot of whiskey mixed up with regret. 'Cause there's still some things left to forget. Gotta live no holiday. 'Cause she got $5 in a broke red Silverado with a mile left in the tank. Still owes 4 bills she cannot pay. Yeah, yelling, bartender, pour me another shot of whiskey mixed up with regret. 'Cause there's still some things left to forget. Gotta live no holiday.
What do you think? Do you have your favorite? Let me go to a different part of the song.
But then she stays. Used to buy out all the live social media sales when she cut off all her friends and changed her name. All she ever felt in this town was betrayed. She's looking for the reason not to fall apart. Been looking for a place to make a brand new start. She's tired of empty promises and broken hearts, but still wants to believe. But looking back and thinking, should I stay? Said I'm bound to run, not to behave. Now she's calling number 9 on the radio fam. Grabbed a couple things, she's laying.
Okay, do you have your favorite? I have my favorite. My favorite by a long shot is number 2. Do you want to know what it is? Digital. What was the one thing that I did different? Analog was turned down by 1 decibel. 1 dB versus 0. Digital is line level, analog was turned down 1 decibel. So wrapping all of this up into a conclusion here, to me, the analog and the digital, when level matched, are neck and neck. Can I say that one of them is worth $25,000 more than the other one? Or okay, let's be real here. It's $24,800 more than the other one because Logic is what, $200? No. The difference between analog and digital was not worth $25,000. They were close. I picked the analog because I liked it marginally better. But then I turned down the analog by 1 dB and I kept the digital at line level, and the digital at that point was clearly better, bigger, fuller, louder. What's my point here? My point is the difference between analog and digital is negligible compared to the difference between plus or minus 1 dB. So this stuff, this is fun. This is wonderful. I'm not returning it. I love it. It sounds great. It inspires me to get up in the morning and make records, do my job. But is it necessary? No. What's more necessary is the theory, is the knowledge and the practice. So, go practice.